Hello everyone, welcome to Accounting with John. My name is John and today's topic will talk about double entry accounting. There are three important points that we will talk in this video. The first of all is double entry accounting system meaning. The second is the rules of debit and credit. And the third point to summarize is the key point for your case in school or university. Now, so what is double entry accounting system meaning? Well, like the name suggests, every business transaction needs to be recorded in at least two accounts, double entry, and the total debits recorded for this transaction must be equal to the total in credit side that are recorded. So let's go to the example. If we receive an order for a service that we done amounting to $500, we can't just record it as an increase in our asset, in this case cash. We must record it as an increase in asset in cash amounting $500 and an increase in revenue, or in this case fees earned, because we are talking about service amounting $500. So you see, if we just recorded an increase in cash, it will be meaning that we recorded it in single entry, not double entry. If we recorded this case as an increase in asset and also in revenue, we recorded it according to double entry accounting system. So let's this is the journal will look like for the previous case, and this is also the common shape of a journal in general. We have the date column, so the date of the journal will be called posting date because this is a date that this journal are posted. And the second column is called description column, which will be including the account name and the description, just a small summarize the description regarding the transaction. And in this column we have postref, which means posting reference. So in this column we usually record the journal number. So because this is our first journal in this case, or for this example, we record it as 001 because this is the first journal. But pay attention though, because every case or every company usually have some specific code to record their journal. So you need to pay attention to the code or the case, the code in the case for the journal number to fill this postref column. And the last two column is the debit column and credit column. And so we record the increase in cash in previous case, which amounting to $500 in debit side, and the increase in revenue, or in this case fees earned from our service, in credit side amounting $500. So the question is, why does cash increase in debit and fees earned increase in credit? Cash increase in debit and fees earned increase in credit. Well, this is because what we call rules of debit and credit. To record transaction, accounting has specific rule to record the increase or decrease of each account. So let's say we have a T account for cash here to record the increase and decrease for cash. We will record all increase in cash in left side, in which is a debit side, and all the decrease in cash account will be recorded on right side, which is credit side. These are rules, so you can't just ignore it because it will be wrong if you record increase in cash and credit. That's just wrong, and you broke the rules of debit and credit. and it's also wrong in accounting term in accounting manner. Sorry. Um, so what are other example of rules of debit and credit? So to put it simple, rules of debit credit works in general according to the account's classification or the account's nature. So let's say we'll talk about the balance sheet account, will which contain of three account classification: asset, liability, and owner's equity. Just like in accounting equation, asset, liabilities, and owner's equity. These three accounts are the one that's responsible for the balance sheet. So if we talk about asset, most of them will increase in debit side and they will decrease in credit side. I say most of them because inside of asset column in asset classification there's sometimes like a contra account, but we will not talk about it later. But we will not talk about it now. We'll talk about it later, maybe in next video or something. But for today, the general rule for asset is that they will increase in debit side and decrease in credit side. So cash is an asset. All of cash or receivable they will increase in debit and decrease in credit. Liabilities, on the other hand, such as payable or other liabilities, they will increase in credit side. So if we record an increase in liabilities, we must record it in credit side. And every time there is a decrease in liabilities, we record it in debit side. For owner's equity, it's kind of similar with liabilities. Every every increase in owner's equity will be recorded in credit side, and the decrease in owner's equity, such as withdrawal or something else, will be recorded in debit side. So increase like debit will be so increase like deposit. I mean, deposit from owners will be recorded as an increase in credit side. So now that we talk about balance sheet, we will talk about income statement account. Income statement account only consists of two classification of accounts, revenue and expense. Revenue will increase in credit side, such as our example earlier, fees earned. An increase in fees earned will be recorded in credit side, but the decrease of revenue will be recorded in debit side. And for expense, if we record a new expense, for example, like rent expense or salary expense, they will all increase in debit side and a decrease in expense will be recorded on credit side. So if we go back to the journal earlier, cash are increased in debit and fees earned are increased in credit. Cash is an asset account, which is a balance sheet account, increased by $500. Therefore, should be recorded in debit side according to the rules of debit and credit. Fees earned is a revenue account from an income statement account. Also increased by $500 in this case, therefore should be recorded in credit side according to the rules of debit and credit. And you see, we recorded two accounts together in one journal. This is the example of double entry accounting system. At minimum, we always record two accounts in one journal. There could be three, there could be four, but at least at minimum, you should always record two accounts, or else it will be meaning that you are wrong. So, to summarize it, two key points that you should keep in mind is always try to remember on which side account classification normally increase or decrease. But for my first tip, if you just learn accounting, try to remember on which side they normally increase, because the decrease side will naturally, you will also remember it naturally. That's what I mean. So asset is increase in debit side, liability increase in credit side, equity increase in credit side, revenue increase in credit side, expense increase in debit side. Maybe in your school or university, you will find a new account that sometimes you don't even know what it is, or what the normal debit or the credit side for those accounts. So you what you need to do is to identify whether they are asset, liability, equity, revenue, or expense. You just need to remember the account classification. You don't need to memorize all the accounts inside it. You just need to be able to analyze whether it's an asset, liabilities, equity, revenue, or expense. So the account's nature is what important to to make you understand about double entry system and which size they normally increase. And also when journalizing, always make sure the debit and credit side always balance. This is basic, but it's also very important to always make sure the debit and credit side always balance. So that's all for today's topic. Please subscribe if you want for more video like this, and ring the bell for every so you will get new notification for new video from me. Thank you. Have a nice day.